Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something we use every single day, but almost never really truly think about. Money. We're about to go on a deep dive to figure out what it really is, and you might be shocked to find out that its value is, well, it's kind of a beautiful illusion we all just agree to see.
So let's just jump right in with the biggest, most basic question there is. What even is money? I mean, we know what it does, we know we want it, but what is the actual substance of it?
Okay, here's the first big mental shift you have to make. Money isn't a thing. It's not the paper or the metal. It's a technology. Think of it like a shared social tool, a giant public ledger for keeping track of who owes what to whom. It's a kind of collective memory. Really, it's just the story we all agree to believe in. So if money is just a story, how did that story get started? And how did we all come to believe in it? Well, that brings us to part one of our journey. The history of money isn't about metal. It's about the invention of trust. Now, what's so cool about this is that it completely busts the myth we all learned in school about bartering, trading chickens for pots. Early communities didn't really do that. They ran on reputation and credit, basically IOUs. The first huge innovation came around 600 BCE with the king's seal on a coin. Suddenly, you didn't have to weigh and test the metal every time. The seal was a guarantee. It standardized trust. Then, centuries later, another massive leap. Paper money in China. And what was it? It was literally a promise, a claim check saying you could trade this piece of paper for a certain amount of real metal. Every single step was just about making trust easier to transfer.
And that idea, the idea of a promise, the idea that your piece of paper is backed by something real and tangible, that became the absolute bedrock of our entire financial system for centuries. But, as we're about to see, that foundational promise was dramatically and suddenly broken.
For a very long time, this promise was called the gold standard. It was simple, it was tangible. The government was saying to the people, see this dollar bill? It represents a real, specific amount of gold that we have locked away in a vault for you. This is what made paper money feel safe, solid, real.
But then came this one year, 1971. A single year that completely changed the definition of money for literally the entire planet. It's famously known as the Nixon shock. In one fell swoop, the United States just announced it would no longer exchange US dollars for gold. And since the whole world's financial system was pegged to the dollar, that single move completely severed the link between money and any physical thing. The promise was officially broken.
So what's left? What do we have now? Well, we live in the age of fiat money. And this is the central paradox, the absolute core of it all. The money in your pocket or your bank account has value for one reason and one reason only, because the government says it does, and because everyone believes it does. It's value based purely on collective faith. If we all woke up tomorrow and stopped believing, it would just be worthless paper and pixels.
All right, so if money isn't backed by gold anymore, and we know most of it isn't even physical cash, then where does it actually come from? This question leads us to the modern magic trick we're calling the money machine.
This is wild. The vast majority of new money isn't printed by a government. It's created out of thin air by commercial banks every single time they make a loan. It's called fractional reserve banking. Just follow the steps here. You put $100 in the bank only has to keep a small fraction of that, let's say $10. It then loans out the other $90. That $90 is now new money in the system. When that person deposits it in their bank, that bank does the same thing, keeps a fraction, loans out the rest. And poof, your original $100 just created way more money in the system, all of it based on debt.
So here's the kicker. This is the big reveal. That stuff we think of as money, the cash, the coins, take a look at this chart. That's only about 8% of all the money in the world. 8%! The other 92%, it doesn't physically exist. It's just digital entries on bank computers. It's a series of promises built on top of other promises.
This digital reality, the fact that money is already just numbers on a screen, brings us to our final and maybe most important section. We're now face to face with the future of money itself, and it's basically becoming nothing more than ghosts in the network.
So as we look ahead, there are really two main paths emerging for this all-digital future. On one side, you have things like Bitcoin, decentralized cryptocurrencies that are run by a network of users with no one person or government in charge. And on the other side, you have something called central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. These are basically official government-issued digital dollars or euros. And as you can see, the fundamental trade-off is huge. It's a choice between decentralization versus total state control, and between a degree of privacy versus total traceability.
The implications of this choice are absolutely massive, and I think this quote just captures it perfectly. When every single transaction is digital and flows through a central system, the potential for surveillance is absolute.
And that right there is the final, crucial question I want to leave you with. As we race toward this seemingly inevitable cashless society, what are we really trading away for convenience? Are we building a more efficient world? Yes, but is it a world where financial privacy simply no longer exists? Something to really think about. Thanks for watching.